What up, everybody? It is back. Comically Boston, episode 6. What up, y'all? I'm gonna jump right into it because now, if you're here by now, you know how it works. My name is Big Cam. Subscribe if you're new. Smash that like button below. But we got some news this week. First off, I just want to say rest in peace to Coolio. Man, the world lost a real one. If you grew up in my generation, you probably grew up watching Kenan and Kel, watching him go, "It's on and on, it's the morning show, it's Kenan and Kel." Look, I don't know how exactly it goes, but if you remember Kenan and Kel and the theme song to it, it was done by Coolio. And Coolio is a gangster, and he also wrote the song Gangsta's Paradise. And that's a fucking tremendous song too. So Coolio, rest in peace, brother. You are up somewhere in a gangster's paradise. I hope and pray for you, my friend. This weekend was the preseason opener for the Celtics. You know how, if you guys haven't been here before, we start with the sports. We talk about our Boston teams. Unfortunately, I really can't do it. Like, I keep saying I'm gonna sit down on a Sunday and watch a full Pats game. I just can't do it, especially when we don't even have our starting quarterback. We have a guy named Zappy in there. Who the fuck is that? Some white bastard. Like, oh god, the Pats are so, like, the Pats have been the Pats my entire life, and we have run the team the exact same way. You're gonna run on first down, you're gonna run on second down, and if we get close to a third down, maybe even run on third down. But if you get stuffed 2 times in a row running on first and second, then you're gonna throw a pass on third. If it doesn't get complete, or if it's short of a fourth, even if it's 4th and inches, we're punting because we're pussy. Hey, all power to Bill Belichick. I love Bill Belichick, but I don't know. I can't do it. But what I can do is talk about the Boston Celtics because I am hype. We signed Blake Griffin to a 1-year deal. Last week I was talking about some big men we could have added. I completely forgot about Blake. I was talking about LaMarcus Aldridge and Dwight. Personally, I like Blake way better. He fits the spot very well. Considering we're a little light on big men, Blake is not necessarily somebody that plays the center, but he's going to get used to it this year, let me tell you, because he could either play as the bench behind Tatum, or I think we could have a starting lineup, something like Smart, JB at the 2, JT at the 3, Blake at the 4, and then, Al Horford at the 5 for now. Al's a good player. Al tries real hard. He's getting older, but I like Rob Williams a lot better than Al Horford at the center, but what are you going to do? And I like Danilo Gallinari, but Danilo's out for the season, it looks like. He's already rehabbing his knee, so I want to see him back healthy and stronger than ever, maybe next season. Who knows? Brogdon, I really like the addition of Brogdon on the team. This team is just so deep. Like, even the guys like Sam Hauser. Like, Sam Hauser had a great game yesterday. He was 4 for 4 from 3, I think, and he didn't play very many minutes. It's preseason, so, like, Tatum didn't play very much. Tatum didn't score very well. Let me check the box score for you. I know Brown had 24. Brown looked awesome. Brown looked like he was working on his game all summer. And if you follow Jalen on Instagram or anything, he has been putting in work. He's been putting in water workouts, underwater, jumping. Tatum was 4 for 11, still had 16 points. Like, that's just the type of player Tatum is. Like, have a iffy, not so much game. Like, didn't really play all that much. Had 16, 6, and 3. Like, good for you, JT. Not even trying, dude. He got that. Our starting lineup yesterday was Smart at the point guard. Derek White got the 2. I don't know about that. If we're starting Smart at the point guard, I'm going to say that we have to start Brogdon at the 2, Brown at 3, Tatum at the 4, and Horford at the 5, at least for now, because we don't have Cornette, Williams, or Gallinari, all our centers pretty much. So we had to, let our power forwards play big, if you would. Noah Vonleh, local kid. Noah Vonleh wouldn't know me, but I know Noah Vonleh because I was at a shooting camp over in Haverhill when I was a kid, and he was there. He was like, a young, he wasn't in the NBA yet, but he was like probably going to college in a couple years. And me and Danny Priest, shout out Danny Priest, open invitation to you, Danny, if you ever want to come on and talk Celtics or talk sports. I know you're probably much more professional than I am, but hey, it's a place to talk some shit. So if you want to come on, let me know, brother. But the Celtics, very deep team right now, and I'd love to see them back all together playing healthy. But Noah Vonleh played pretty well. I liked seeing him at the he picked up quite a few fouls pretty quick. But hey, it's first game of the season. What are you gonna do? But he had 7 points, 9 rebounds. 9 rebounds. That's all we need. Like, a guy that's gonna grab rebounds all day. Like, that's what we really need out of our big guys, because like we have scoring out of, you know, Brown and JT. Like, the other guys really just need to assist them. But you know, if they don't need the help, really, you know, like Tatum didn't even have really a good game. Hauser had 14 off the bench. You know, Brogdon had 11. Smart only had 7. Al had 8. You know, like what's his name? Who the hell is this guy? Oh wow, I'm gonna butcher his name, but Mfundu Kabengele. Ooh, I'm gonna try that one again. Kabengele. Mfundu Kabengele. Ooh, I think I actually got it. Mfundu Kabengele. He's a young guy. I don't know if he's a rookie or not, but he is definitely not been on. Oh, he was drafted first round, 27th pick in 2019. I don't know if he was drafted by us, but it actually says he's on the Clippers, but he's actually on the Celtics. All right, so he must have been drafted the Clippers. But Mfundu Kabengele, he's very athletic. If we keep him around just to play 4 and a 5, he's a very athletic young guy. I liked what I seen out of him. But we are like our roster right now is deep. Like, within the whole guys that we have are not making it to the regular season roster. I promise you, it's just not going to happen. But yeah, we hit 22 threes as a team. We beat the Hornets 134-93. You know, damn near 40 points, 41 I think we beat them by, if my math's right. But that's wild. That's very wild. Like, in our first game of the season, you know, to look like that clean and to be hitting that many shots. I've never seen the Celtics just like it felt like we were hitting everything we shot. But maybe that's just how it feels to play our first home game, you know, with our first audience, you know, like. But if there's players I'd like to see keep around, Sam Hauser's definitely one. Kabengele, butchering that, sorry brother. I liked how you played though. I'd like to see Noah stick around. Pritchard's a baller. You know, Pritchard's one of those guys that, like, even if it's the fourth quarter and they're up by 40, he's playing tight D on the guy that he's defending. Like, he's like, he never misses his assignment. Like, he's like there to play and play hard. I fucking love Pritchard for that reason. He hit a pretty deep 3 in somebody's mouth, like, as much as it could have been in their face, like in their eye. He hit that shit, like, oh. But I love to see it. Love to see the Celtics shooting well and making threes as a team. You know, not necessarily at one guy went off, you know, but I like to see it. You know, a nice team victory. JB led the way, you know, scoring-wise for us. But, wow. If JB and JT can have a season of vengeance this year, it's the time to do it. They're on a mission. You know, they left the World Championship last year, the finals. They could have made it, and they, you know, fell short. But, you know, they made it, and they lost to the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry. So, I don't know. If it's a rematch versus them again this year, I'm not voting for the Warriors. I didn't vote for the Warriors last year. I'm kind of biased in that way. I'm always going to vote for the Celtics no matter what. But, I don't know. I feel good. I feel like this is going to be a good season. And I can't wait to see Blake and Green and playing for us and see how he does. You know, he's getting older. Maybe he's washed up. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I think Blake's been working on this offseason. Maybe working on his game. Maybe his three-pointer's been feeling good. Maybe he finally feels like this is the place he's supposed to be. You know, he's always been kind of white and kind of ginger, but low-key he's black. I don't know. Google it. If I remember correctly from when I was younger. I'm pretty sure Blake's got black parents, but he looks like a white ginger. You know, it looks like Irish to me, but oh well. let's get into some news of the week and some stuff breaking news that dropped this week. Harrison Ford might be playing Thaddeus Ross in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Thaddeus Ross was played by William Hurt, rest in peace. So, you know, it might be soon to replace him, but they also might have had big plans for that character, so they might have to replace him. And I loved William Hurt, so if they're not going to replace William Hurt with Sam Elliott, because he's my number one choice, he's just amazing with that mustache. But I don't know. Harrison's a great actor too, so Harrison could pull a great time. The Wakanda Forever trailer dropped today, and this morning, right before I left for work. Normally I don't work on Mondays, and I just record the podcast. But I worked this morning, ran over to Lowell, took some pictures. For those of you that don't know, I'm a car photographer as my day job, so that's what I'd be doing. So the trailer and the tickets dropped today for Wakanda Forever. And or a new trailer dropped. There was already one out with the "No Woman, No Cry." That trailer was still better to me because it was like, you know, the first time you see a trailer and it like gives you goosebumps. Like, oh, just the trailer for that and Way of Water for Avatar 2. The first times I saw both of them, I was just like, this is the most beautiful trailer with the music that I've ever seen for a movie, and I've never been so hyped to go watch it. Like, I just need to. Like, I cannot wait for that. So I'm going to buy my tickets today for that. I suggest you buy yours. It's going to be a long one. It's not like Thor Love and Thunder. Not like mandated to a 2-hour window. And it's not going to be a kids movie, I don't think. Wakanda Forever's runtime is 2 hours and 41 minutes, making it, you know, one of, if not the longest, because I know Endgame's over 3 hours, but it's probably in the top 3 of longest movies. Maybe one other one beats it out, but I can't remember what. I want to say maybe it's number 2 longest movie in the MCU. So that's hype. And then some bad news for the MCU. Blade lost the director. Blade has been announced for years now, and it still hasn't shot yet. It's supposed to be shooting in November, which is next month, and they're now doing a page 1 rewrite, and it has a new director. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe Mahershala is a hard bargain, you know, to run on. Maybe he's been a bit of an asshole to work with, but I don't know. Mahershala seems like a cool guy. He's a very good actor. You know, if you've ever seen the movie where he's a piano guy. What's that movie called? Moonlight? Green Book. Green Book. I'm pretty sure he's in the movie Moonlight too, but I haven't seen that. The movie Green Book, he plays a pianist, and he's incredible. It's a great movie. I highly recommend that. Go see that if you haven't. But they're going to do a page 1 rewrite, so that's probably getting pushed back. But apparently the director or the writer that they have doing the rewrite now has been doing stuff for Marvel, and he has very, very impressed Kevin Feige. So Kevin Feige's letting him run with it, but the rumors were that Kevin Feige was spread too thin because the last script only had 90 pages. In Hollywood, it's normally about 120 per movie. You know, 90 pages for a Marvel movie that's supposed to be in works for the last couple of years. Seems like maybe that had the short end of the stick. Maybe they had their intentions in their eyes set on something else, and now they're struggling for a movie. But hey, I'm gonna watch it when it comes, but figure your shit out, Marvel. What they did figure their shit out on is Deadpool 3. They made an announcement with Ryan Reynolds. 2 days in a row they made the announcement, and then the next day they did like a little teaser talking about it, but they still just didn't really tell us much, but told us a little bit. So the news is that Deadpool 3 is announced for September 6, 2024. So we are less than two years away already for Deadpool 3, which is nuts. They'll probably start shooting in the summertime of next year or something like that. But Deadpool 3 is going to be as far as I know from what I've read online, it's going to be a buddy comedy movie between him and Wolverine, and it might be even a road trip across the country with Wolverine and Deadpool. So Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine after that Logan movie, which is a tremendous film, a great way to send off one of my favorite characters in Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. You know, growing up watching the X-Men movies and watching him act and be incredible as that character. Like, that character is just so badass. Like, listen, Bubba, smoking cigars, stabbing people with fucking metal blades that come out of his hand. Like, thinking, oh my god, so badass. Love it. Love it. Can't wait to see more. Yeah. So, Deadpool 3, baby. And I cannot wait for that. I'll maybe put up a little thing here, the Deadpool 3 title, where it's, you know, the Deadpool logo and then has the 3 claws slashed through it. I'm like, oh, that's a great logo, too. So they got Deadpool 3, and at the end of Deadpool 2, it was all about him going back in time and fucking with Cable shit. So I wonder if Josh Brolin's Cable's going to be in it. I wonder if, you know, the people like Cyclops, or not Cyclops, what is his name, Colossus, big silver dome, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, the little girl that's with him. you know the cab driver has to come back, Bantu, or whatever his name is. Oh god, those movies are so funny. But like, I'm just really glad that we're gonna get to see a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. It's not just gonna be like Hugh Jackman's a cameo. I'm pretty sure it's these two starring in this film. Oh, it's gonna be so funny. I cannot wait for that. Yeah, so just crazy stuff. Let's finish talking about Marvel real quick, then we'll get into my Game of Thrones rewatch progress. House of the Dragon episode 7. Rasing Kanan came back, so we'll talk about that. But let me talk about She-Hulk real quick. This was the what episode was this? This was a sad episode for Jen. This episode, if you guys have seen it, comment below, #fuck Josh. Josh is a doucher. Fuck Josh. Oh. So spoilers if you haven't seen the newest episode for She-Hulk. Once again, no Daredevil. Daredevil will probably be back next week, which is episode 8. So he'll maybe be in that episode, maybe the finale too. Maybe he just gets one episode. Either way, if you're going to show Daredevil in your fucking trailers before the show's even out, don't put him and wait till the second to last episode. You ruined the surprise. You know, like, whoever did that, fuck you. You fucking ruined it. Like, and I'm not even the biggest Daredevil fan. But what would have been more hype is seeing the costume in the show, and then everyone would have lost their minds week 6, and then you only have to wait 2 weeks to get him. And that would have been the hype. But instead they were like, let's build the hype before, make the people watch it, and then as they're not giving it to us for 7 fucking weeks, like, that's 6 to 8 weeks sometimes is healing a broken arm, an injury. Like, that's a lifetime for some people. You're talking about a 9-week show. In week 8, we're going to get the guy that you gave us in the trailer. Like, yeah, it gave the trailer something, but, like, you could have had that trailer without him, too. And I'm pretty sure you had the She-Hulk trailer before you dropped the little sneak peek of him flipping over the car and turning around, and, like, we didn't need that, is what I'm saying. As a Marvel fan, I'm gonna watch it anyways. Regardless if I know about the character or not, I'm watching it. And every time, they've always made a great show. She-Hulk has been wonderful. But I'm mad about the trailer. Like, just don't tease that Daredevil's going to be a part of the show and then let it be the end. And if it's going to be the end, don't spoil the end before. Like, people don't understand. They don't understand, man. Like, that, you dropped the ball there. You know, just acknowledge it, please. But yeah, this was a tough episode for Jen. I felt bad. But seeing Porcupine and the Yurt and all the guys over at the at Blonsky's ranch doing the that little meditative group therapy circle or whatever, those guys were funny, and seeing them, that group of them, was hilarious. And they definitely dropped a little bit of juicy details that everyone like kind of brushed over. Everyone was like, oh, Saracen's a vampire and has a father, maybe that's a vampire, also black, maybe Blade's his son, or Blade's his father, and that's Saracen's his son. Maybe Saracen's just full of shit and he's not really a vampire. Who knows? maybe they won't even tell us, and that was just a little Easter egg that they dropped. So they just said fuck you, pretty much. You know, I wouldn't put Marvel past it, but the one thing I like from the She-Hulk show, it's that the show itself has felt like a show. And every time I watch it, it feels like I'm just watching a TV show that I like. And it's just that there's a new episode out. So, like, it doesn't necessarily feel like Marvel. Like, you don't go and you're like, oh my god, the world's gonna end. Like, it's just a low-level stakes. People are trying to take Jen's blood, and Jen's a Hulk. You know, like, that's the premise. Great, I'm with it. Same thing with Andor. Andor, there's the last week in Andor, they just found out that, quick little segue from She-Hulk into Andor. I was done with She-Hulk. She-Hulk, can't wait till next episode. Hopefully Daredevil's there. Can't wait. Andor, episode 4. We now have, 8 more weeks of Andor. So, like, just so much stuff coming your way. But Andor, episode 4, spoilers. Where I think the main mission of the show, maybe this is just, gonna happen over the next couple episodes, and then the main mission will come after that. Maybe this is another test by Luthen and by Mon Mothma. But we saw Mon Mothma in this episode. That's cool. I love the actress that plays her, and love her story. How she was in a deleted scene in Revenge of the Sith 15 years ago, and then like 6 years ago did voice over animation work for Star Wars Rebels. And if you haven't watched that little animated show, it's fucking awesome, especially because they're in the Ahsoka. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have Ezra Miller and all the characters that were animated in that show in live action, so that's gonna be cool. I don't think anyone's seen those characters in live action, so that's gonna be awesome. Andor's main story, they're just robbing a place. They're taking the payroll from this garrison of men. So if the Empire can't pay them, they won't fight. It's pretty simple. It doesn't have to be, we're stealing the Death Star plans to blow up some people. Let's steal it again. It's like, okay, how many times can a ship be a moon and shoot a laser beam and blow up other moons? That's pretty much Star Wars. If you haven't seen Star Wars, it's a moon with a laser shooting other moons and blowing it up, and they're trying to stop it. It's good guys versus bad guys. This is just different. This is like, they've now had, like, Star Wars is Star Wars, and this is the only Star Wars show that hasn't talked about the Force, hasn't talked about lightsabers, hasn't brought up Jedi. Maybe it will by the end of the show, but I just like that we've gotten 3-4 episodes into this, and it's just Andor being Andor and fighting the Empire and like becoming a rebel, and like we're seeing his story, and it's just cool. Like, very much so, very cool, very good budget. I like the casting, I like the story, I like the writing, I like Stellan Skarsgård's character is awesome. He's a great actor too. I just like him in general. But yeah, can't wait to see what happened to Stellan Skarsgård in Dune. Dune Part 2. Maybe he's alive. Maybe he's fucked up. Maybe he's. I think he's alive. But he should be. But Oscar Isaac almost killed him. He was close, but not close enough. So he killed everyone else in the room though with his poison tooth. As you see me, as I am, as I remain, or something like that, and bites a poison tooth and breathes in his face, and everyone dies, and Oscar Isaac's sitting there naked. Like, interesting. Some other news that came out this week, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, so we're gonna have another Planet of the Apes movie. I think there was already 3, Rise, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes. All of those movies I tremendously liked, and I didn't realize that Matt Reeves directed, I don't know, all of them, maybe one of them. Matt Reeves is the director of Robert Pattinson's Batman, and yeah, I would love to see him maybe do a Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie. Feels like maybe a lengthy name, Kingdom. It could just be Kingdom of the Apes. Does it have to be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Like, it seems like there's too many of those in there. There's one too many of those in there. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Like, it seems like just something should be switched up there, but I don't know. Maybe let me know, comment below if you like the title, or if you like the Planet of the Apes movies. But I loved. I want to say what's his name plays Caesar. Andy Serkis plays Caesar. I'm pretty sure. No. You know, like I would love if they fucking casting for that movie, and you need a big fucking gorilla dude to dress up like a gorilla, or even put on a motion capsule suit and walk around like a gorilla. Oh, I would love to do that. I'm already a gorilla. Hashtag Gorilla Crew Fitness. Hashtag Jake Pilla. He's got a fight coming up, October 21st, in Wilmington, Mass. If you want to see Jake Pilla, the gorilla, come fight, or if you want to train jiu-jitsu with me, come down to Gorilla Crew Fitness. But moving on again, we are into, let's talk Rasing Kanan. Sorry, my nose is all red. I'm stuffy. It's that time of year. It's getting colder, getting sick again. Who cares? Massachusetts, almost that winter time. Winter is coming, Jon Snow. Shit is fucking gonna head into the fucking pit of misery soon. Trust me. But yeah, let's talk Rasing Kanan. Rasing Kanan, episode 7? Episode 7. No Love Lost. So they, after skipping a week, we come back to Rasing Kanan. Lou had just killed Crown, and there's some bumbleclot Jamaicans, man. That Crown, now Crown's dead, and he's supposed to be Lou's partner. Crown owes these bumbleclots 50 grand. So the bumbleclots come looking and walk in on Lou fucking his girl there, the new artist. So, they have to stop, and he's like, what the fuck? So they tells him he wants money. They come back later, beat him up. He's like taking money from the cash house without cashing it. It's gonna fuck up their workflow. Lou's just fucking shit up, all for this music business that he's not trying to bring rockin' on. Lou ends up bringing in Cartier for Reed in on it. Cartier's fucking slimy little bastard. He's like, alright, so if you had half and Crown had half, give me 20. And he goes, what happens to Crown share? Lou's like, it's mine. Fuck you. And Cartier's a smart motherfucker, goes, give me half of his half. So now Cartier's a 25% owner in this record studio. He's like, I'll be a silent party. You've never seen me. Cut back a couple minutes later. Lou's in the booth helping his girl record, or she's in the booth recording. He's in the studio, moving the buttons. Cartier for Reed is in the studio, so not so much silent partner, but Lou got what he wanted, got the money for the bumbleclots. So Kanan goes back to Corinne, his girlfriend's house. I didn't realize they were dating, but he has been talking to her, asked her for a knife last episode, and the mom gave him a gun. So he comes back and goes, hey, I want to give this back to you. And she looks at him and goes, I hope it had helped and it did what it needed to. And he's like, yeah, it did what it needed to. And she's like, wearing a robe. She's like, so Kanan, shows the tits. So Kanan, what are you doing? And he's like, is Corinne home? She's like, she's at her friend's. And he's like, okay, I'll leave. She's like, oh, you could stay. So Kanan ends up hooking up with the mom. Fucking badass MILF. Oh, God, she's sexy. I would have fucked the mom, too, if I'm being real. She's a gorgeous motherfucker. Fuck the daughter. I'm with the moms all day. If you's a mom out there and you want to fuck Big Cam, hey, slide in the comment section. I'm here for you. Then... Right, Kanan hooks up with her. They're just laying in bed. He's like, God damn, dude, I've fucking never been with a mom. What's up? Like, Kanan's fucking drooling over her. And the daughter, Corinne, walks in. He goes, hey, mom, this smells kind of bad. Sees Kanan, her boyfriend, in bed with her mom. And she fucking throws milk all over. Kanan's like, oh my God, I'm Corinne, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, what did you walk in on? And the mom's like, come on, baby, stay. Like, fuck her. All girls go through this. And he's like, what do you mean all girls go through this? No, they don't, you crazy bitch. If your mom's, right, just public service moment. If your mom's is hooking up with your boyfriend and you're a girl, that doesn't happen to all women. That's just fucked up. Like, that's just hilarious, one. Like, I couldn't keep myself serious. I was like, wow, dude, this fucking Corinne threw milk all over her mom and her boyfriend. Like, oh, God. So, poor Corinne. Sorry, baby. Yeah, mom's took you, man. Corinne's salty, though. So, Kanan's like, God, what do you mean this ain't normal? I gotta go talk to her. Friggin', she just walked in on her boyfriend with her moms. It ain't normal. And the moms was like, nah, come fuck me more. Like, fuck that bitch. So, I'm with the moms, too. Fuck, who cares? But, Marvin, Kanan's uncle, not Lou, the other one, goes and hires an Italian man to go kill Tony, Marvin's ex, that he used to do coke with back in the day at the club. So he hires them to go kill the dentist that she's sleeping with so that maybe Marvin can get Tony back. I think that's his plan. He doesn't necessarily say kill her, but the Italian dumb motherfuckers walk in and kill her immediately and then go to shoot the other dude, and he like tackles one of them, and then his dumbass Italian partner from a couple episodes back from the woods, the dumbass from the woods is the same dumbass now, shoots the guy, the Italian that Marvin hired, kills him. The Tony bitch is laying in bed with a bullet between her eyes, and then he gets the dentist shot once, but the dentist is just now firing the other dude's gun at the idiot. The dentist gets one shot in the other dude. So the other dude's bleeding out on a roof somewhere. He might be dead too, but he deserves to be dead because he's a moron. The dentist is like, I don't know why this would happen. Tony never did anything to anybody. Oh, no. And so Tony's dead. The dentist is still alive. That's going to be a problem with Marvin, the Italians, the cops. That's going to be another issue later in this season. What's probably going to be a bigger issue is Howard's partner. The cop, Kanan's father's partner, right, is getting too close, pulls over Symphony because Symphony was seen talking to Kanan. You know, the white bitch is asking Symphony all these questions, and then Symphony tells Rock that the cop was asking questions. Rock's like, oh, cops was talking to you? You must have snitched on me. Like, you know, she's defensive, but Symphony didn't say anything, tells Rock the 100% truth. And then, you know, Howard plants a little seed into Rock's head after he goes, hey, by the way, the eye patch motherfucker that I said was a snitch, he wasn't really a snitch. My bad. I made a mistake. And she's like, motherfucker, what do you mean you made a mistake? He's like, my bad, I'm a human. People make mistakes. He wasn't a snitch. What do you want me to say? And so she doesn't say anything, but Scrappy's dead because she shot him in the face because he was a snitch, and he wasn't really a snitch. Whew. Wow, not good. And Howard, because Rock tells Howard about Symphony getting pulled over by his partner, Howard goes, nah, she ain't a problem, don't worry about it. Symphony almost dies, and he doesn't know it. Rock was about to shoot him and fucking puts the gun down and keeps driving, so Symphony dodges a bullet, but I don't know. That's going to come back later. Maybe Symphony turns on her, but I doubt it. But the partner also finds out that Howard had a 17-year-old CI around the time that Kanan would have been born, around the time that Rock was 17. So she's trying to find out like more information, but she's pretty much it being internal affairs right now. So she's investigating her partner for the person that shot him, but she's also investigating him technically. So like she's gonna go down a bad hole where like cops are gonna start turning on her because she's now pretending to be internal affairs, but she's not. She's just a detective, so like she's not supposed to be necessarily following other cops' details type shit. So Howard's partner, right, finds out that Rock might be a snitch. So Rock's killing other snitches for being snitches, and she might be the snitch all along. So that's not good, right? Like, and yeah, and that show's just getting wild. But it ends, I think, with Rock getting told by Corinne that Corinne walks up and goes, Miss Stark, Raquel, I gotta tell you something about Kanan. You know, so she snitches on Kanan. Kanan's sleeping with the mom. So either Rock's gonna kill the mom or talk to the mom and be like, yo, you know who I am. Why the fuck you sleeping with my son? Or she's gonna like talk some shit to Kanan, like, why are you fucking a mom's? Like, fuck you, bitch. Like, I raised you with more respect. He's like, what moms? She wants to fuck. It's alright, like. I don't know. It's gonna get messy, though. All around gonna get messy. That show's getting good. 3 episodes left of that show. Cannot wait. I'm in the middle of my Game of Thrones rewatch. I'll try and run through this quick. I just seen the Sons of the Harpies that I was talking about last episode and that we talked about earlier in the House of the Dragon series, with the crab feeder being inspired by the Harpies. Sir Barristan, the guy that was Kingsguard at one time, was Daenerys' guard, and he goes out like a savage, defeating, stabbing, killing all the Harpy guys. Him and Grey Worm get really badly fucked up. Sir Barristan, the old man that he was, killed all the Harpies and killed a bunch of them, but ends up dying himself from his wounds. And Grey Worm, the leader of the Unsullied, doesn't die, but he's badly wounded. Sir Jorah, after being kicked out by Daenerys, ends up taking Tyrion through the Doom of Valyria, which I believe is the only time, in House of the Dragon they talk about, how House Valyrian fell and got burned down by, I believe, a volcano. All we see in Game of Thrones of it is it's like pretty much underwater, and he's like sailing his little dinghy through it. But there's stone men there, and the stone men are like literally stone, and they're like crazy. And they jump into the water, start attacking the boat, start attacking him and Tyrion. Tyrion falls in the water, and Jorah drags him to the shore, saves him. But Jorah goes, Tyrion, did you get touched by him? Tyrion's like, no. But Jorah says no too, but Jorah lied. Jorah's got infected by the stone man on his wrist, so now Jorah is becoming a stone man, I believe, or he's just going to start slipping away, like maybe his consciousness is going to start being like crazy and start killing people. I don't know, but I'll tell you more about Jorah and his stone man actions when that gets to where it gets to. Tyrion tells Jorah about the death of his father, the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch that gets turned on by his men, and that's how Jon Snow ends up becoming Lord Commander. And Jon Snow ends up going with Tormund, and he goes to Hardhome to recruit more wildlings, at least get the wildlings away from the night people and onto the other side of the wall, which no Night's Watch person likes the wildlings, so he's being a traitor to his men, but he's also doing what he thinks is right. He's being an honorable man like a Stark would, but he's also being a moron because he's, he knows he's being a traitor, but he's doing what he thinks is right, so good for him. But the Night's Watch does not like that very much, and I'll talk about more of that in a second. Littlefinger goes back to King's Landing, lies to the Queen, tells her that he found Sansa at Winterfell, and that she's marrying Ramsay when he arranged that whole thing. Like, oh, he's just a bastard. And really what he wants from Cersei is to now be the Lord of Winterfell, so he's trying to get rid of the Boltons and Sansa and all of them and just become the Lord of Winterfell himself. Maybe save Sansa, but the Queen was like, fine, you can be the Lord of Winterfell if I get Sansa Stark's head on a pike. So I don't know if I actually just don't remember at this point. Like, this point now I'm like into the show and I'm like, oh wow, like I remember how it ends. Like, I remember the final episode of season 8 or whatever it is, but there's a lot happening, man. So I'm finishing season 5-ish, and Dany ends up having the Dance of the Dragons, where the little kid, Stannis' daughter, is talking about the Dance of the Dragons in an episode, and she's like talking about what the Dance of the Dragons is, which is Rhaenyra and her stepbrother Aegon fighting dragons, and dragons fought dragons, and it's terrible. And I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to lead to in the finale here of House of the Dragon, so that's going to be cool. Hardhome has one of the craziest fight scene endings ever. They're fighting the dead, and the dead's coming over the walls. You see the knights on the horses with the Night King of the dead knights, and the dead people are just like hurling themselves at the wall, and then they're dying on the ground, and then just standing up again because they're already dead, and they fucking run again. It's like they're severely outnumbered, But the wildlings and the few Night's Watch people that are with Jon Snow cut down a whole bunch of them. One of the knights or whatever is coming after Jon Snow in the dragon glass, and breaking it. He picks up a random sword. The guy hits it. The sword breaks into a million pieces into ice, except for Valyrian steel, which I don't know. I don't understand why Valyrian steel is not affected by them and can kill them. For some reason, but maybe we'll figure that out. The reason why, maybe in House of the Dragon, or maybe by the end of Game of Thrones. I don't know. I just don't remember. But the way it ends when they're retreating in the water in the boats, and it's just quiet, it's silent, and you just see all the dead people at the edge of the water looking at them sail away, and the Night King walks down the end of the dock just looking at Jon Snow after he had just cut down one of his generals or whatever, and he just goes. And by the time his arms get to the top, all the dead rise at the same time. And they all just look. So all of their friends that just died, all the ones that they just cut down, rise again. All the dead are now back. So he just they technically lost the fight. The Night King did because they got away. But they won the fight because their whole army that they sent after just doubled in size because all the dead are now still dead and back. It's just crazy. You can't fight these motherfuckers because they're just doubling in size every battle that they fight. So Jon retreats back to the wall, lets the wildlings through, and Jon ends up getting stabbed to death by his own men, just like Lord Commander Mormont did. But Jon's is much worse because Jon's is, into their face, traitor, for the watch, and we have to watch it happen at the end of season 5. Him gets stabbed 800 times, and you're like, oh my god, poor Jon, and then they just leave him in the mud, bloody and dead, and then that's how season 6 opens with Ghost, his direwolf, howling and sad, and Davos sees him and gets the body, brings it back to a room. Maybe the Red Witch is gonna do her thing and bring him back. I don't know. We'll let the see. But it's wild. Arya's over there becoming one of the many-faced men. Ramsay's still a crazy motherfucker, killing everything and everything. Ramsay ends up outmanning Stannis' men because Stannis' men, half of them leave him and desert him. And Stannis, fights valiantly till the last second, but he ends up getting killed by Sir Lady Brienne of Tarth for Renly Baratheon, for him, doing the evil dark spell with the Red Witch. Yeah, a pretty wild show. Pretty wild show. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. The beginning of season 6. Lady Brienne and Pod and Reek save Sansa, so Sansa's on the run. So we'll cut back to that. Sansa on the run, Jon Snow dead, maybe coming back, we don't know yet, but he's just on a table with a bunch of stab wounds in the gut. So yeah, he's in tough shape right now. But moving on, we're going to talk spoilers for House of the Dragon, episode 7. 1 second. So, House of the Dragon. Shout out EpicHeroShop.com if you want to get your House of the Dragon merch. This is, I'm pretty sure, Daemon's sword and Daemon's dragon. Calaxes. So, yeah. That's a pretty badass shirt. I like it. Let me know if you do. Tell me if it looks handsome. If it hugs the boobies. But, House of the Dragon, episode 7. Starts with Laena, after dying last episode of Dragon Rider's death and getting burnt alive by Vhagar. They brought the bones back to Driftmark. The title of this episode, episode 7 for House of the Dragon, is Driftmark. And they go back to Driftmark where they are the Lord of the Seas and whatever. And they're, the Driftmark and House Valyrian are of the sea, and House of the Dragon is of fire. So when House of the Dragon's peoples die, they put them on a pyre and burn them, and they die with fire. The Valyrians, they die, they put them in a casket, and they dump their people in the water. So it's just a nice comparison there for what their cultures do. Poor Laena. and their whole house. So their only son that's alive. They have grandkids now with Damon's kids with Lena, and Rhaenyra's kids with Laenor, but Laenor is their last living son. So, and Lord Corlys is, still trying for the throne that should be Rhaenys's, but got passed years ago, his wife. And Rhaenys is like, fuck it, like, I've given up the throne. You're the only one that wants it. And he's like, history doesn't remember blood in Valerians and our, Valerian blood. It remembers names. And that's why 200 years later, we know Dany Targaryen, and we know the Starks, and we know Lannisters, and we know the people, the names, so he's right. History does not remember blood, but really, the Targaryen blood, if it's from Aegon or the sons that aren't Laenor's and they're Harwin Strong's kids, they're really bastards. They might be half Targaryen through Rhaenyra, but they don't got the white hair, and they really ain't that much Targaryen. But they're definitely not Valerian, for sure. So, I don't know. Daemon and Rhaenyra talk on the beach. They haven't seen each other in 10 years, and her lover just died, and his wife just died, and we're technically at his wife's funeral. So they go for a walk on the beach, and they fuck. So, we'll get more to that in a bit, but Aemond, the one son under Aegon that they made fun of last episode for not being a dragon rider, and they gave him a pig, the pink dread, the pig with wings on it, and they were like, this is your dragon. They were being dickheads, but the daughter, or the sister under Aegon and Aemond, the sister, is, I think, one of those people that can see the futures. And so he was like, I'm going to become a dragon rider last episode. And she real quick, like, they cut to her face and she goes, he'll lose an eye for it. So this episode, Aemon Targaryen goes to Vhagar, now riderless, because Vhagar just burnt alive his last rider, his woman. And before that was another woman. So now it's Aemon Targaryen, not Aemon from Game of Thrones, not the old man Aemon, different Aemon. Thank you, Eric Voss. I'll put up the little Eric Voss tweeted me and was like, nah, dude, different Aemons. I'm like, thank you for answering my question. That helps. But this Aemon ends up riding Vhagar, and Vhagar's like ready to kill him, and he's like scared, but he ends up grabbing hold of her reins. In last episode, I was talking the scale of Vhagar compared to the other dragons was kind of hard to see, but seeing this young guy on the back of Vhagar now, and this this kid pretty much, the scale of this episode to see Vhagar and this human like interacting with it, and just this one, like him and her, the scale was much better this episode, because you saw the immense size of Vhagar, and it was huge. Like, this dragon is so big, and it's just girthy and thick. Just woof, woof. Like every flap of wind is just like a gust that could blow somebody over. Jumps off a ledge and woof, like just soars. Aemon takes his first flight. Like, that whole the scene with him in the flight is awesome. I loved seeing that. But then it gets a little too cocky. Comes back. He's now not a pussy, and he's a dragon rider now. He is now riding the biggest dragon there is. Still alive, at least. And he goes a little crazy. And the other kids see him, and Rhaenyra's kids are with Daemon's daughters, and the daughters are like, that was my dragon, it was supposed to be passed down to me through my mother. And he was like, then you should have claimed it. This is my dragon, I'll burn you all. He just gets real cocky, and then calls Rhaenyra's kids, his cousins, bastards, because they are, but also not supposed to be saying that. So the son gets mad, pulls out a knife. Aemon swings at him. One of the sons cuts his eye, so he's got this ginormous scar, loses an eye, and Alicent loses it. Alicent is pissed. Alicent wants an eye for an eye. Like, there's a debt to be paid. One of her sons took an eye from my son. I want an eye from one of hers. So that's nuts. Like, that is some nutso shit. Like, and technically, you know, it's not her blood, but it's her husband, the king's blood, being Rhaenyra's children. Still Rhaenyra's children, even if they're not, you know, they're bastards. They're still her kids, and she's the one with the power. So, like, as long as it's her kids, I think it's fine. But, like, this is supposed to be her step-grandchildren, like, and she's like, I want one of their eyes because he took my son's eye. And Aemon's not all that mad. He goes, Mother, don't mourn me. The price I paid for my dragon is a worthy price. And he's right. You know, he lost an eye, but he's now a dragon rider. So, you know, Aemon's not, no skin off his back. He's like, fuck this eye. I don't need it. I can see with this one, right? Good. You know, like, but bitches be crazy, and she just goes crazy, and you know, she brings the knife, and she's like ready to stab Rhaenyra with the dagger that has the message and the Targaryen blood, and Rhaenyra grabs her wrist, and she's like, oh, you are such a crazy bitch. You've always had it out for me, and now everyone in this room sees you as you really are. And she's like, and cuts and accidentally hits Rhaenyra. I don't think it was on purpose, but it definitely seemed like it. And now it's this big gash on her arm that's going to steal that she was getting, or going to scar, and she got it sewed up, so it's not like life-threatening, but definitely a big old gash on her arm that from Alicent. It's a nice little memory. Every time she looks down and sees this gash, she's going to be like, fuck you, Alicent. But wild. Then Rhaenyra starts talking to Daemon and how she really wants Daemon and she should be together with Daemon. And Daemon goes, not while Laenor is alive. And she's like, so you're going to have me kill Laenor? Well, she goes, I know, but she's like, I can't just kill Laenor. He's been good to me. He just told me that he wants to do right and be here for me as a wife. And so Daemon and her hatch this plan to kill him, and he pays Sir Carl to kill him, his right-hand man, and there must be witnesses. So they burn the body alive, and then Daemon and her go get blood married. They get this weird wedding ceremony, not like the other ones where like there's blood and they're holding blood and dripping blood into a cup and drinking each other's blood that's together. But there's both Targaryens, so I guess it's all about the blood. But yeah. So, you know, and Rhaenyra's like, but the whole world will whisper that I killed my husband and that blah blah blah, and now that we're together. And Daemon's like, let them whisper, let them fear us, but they should love and respect us, but all of the people under us should fear us. And he's right. But what she really needed, I think, this whole time was him to like really enforce what being a ruler is, and he's like bad, and he's like I could do it. But they blood marry. So next episode, they're blood married. They're going to be together. I don't know how many years will pass between the next episode, but wow. Aemon's going to be older. I think they age up the characters again. It's wild. But I think the Rhaenyra and the Alicent and those people are all here. I saw Joe Rogan talking about House of the Dragon the other day, and he was really upset, and he said that the show lost him because the first 5 episodes they switched the characters. And I guess maybe I just knew the characters were switching, but I didn't think it was that big a deal. You comment below if you think the characters switching are a big deal. Comment below what you think of this episode. If you liked House of the Dragon episode 7, if you liked Kanan episode 7, episode 8 of She-Hulk, Andor. So much more coming. We're going to have a review for Werewolf by Night next week. That comes out this Friday. Can't wait to set up. I'm kind of wrapping this up because the battery's dying on the camera. But hey guys, this has been episode 6, I believe, of Comically Boston. We're keeping it rocking. So that's 6 weeks in a row we've done this. So hey, you just got to keep it going, and then it becomes a habit. Then it becomes a thing. So don't let it become a thing, y'all. Celtics season is upon us. Can't wait for that. More games coming this year. More reviews. More talking about it. Let's talk about it. If you guys have questions, ask me personally, or questions about the show, or things you want to talk about, comment below. I'm here for y'all, and I'm a man of the people. I'm here for you if you're here for me. So, I love you. See you in the next video. Go watch my Black Panther video of this bad motherfucker right here, if you'd like to. Lego video is not for everybody, I understand, but Lego video up if you want it, okay? See you next week.